And we're live.
Hi, everybody. I think I did the right thing. I'm not sure, but my name is Victoria L. And I am here with my friend. First of all, let's say this. I want to say congratulations to our sister, Tanya, Tiny T, for she got Teacher of the Year in Gwinnett County. Okay, in one of the top schools, Part T. So we give love to Tanya. Blessings, like Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. We love it, girl. You deserve it. This is what we love. All blessings to you in due time. Okay, so then I want to go ahead and introduce Maggie. Say hello to y'all. Okay, and below her, we have a special guest. Miss Gabrielle Rodgers. Her husband should be joining us later, but we got to keep it moving. So, okay, Gabby, tell everybody about you. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, hello, everybody. I'm on the wonderful set with the waiting game with the beautiful ladies here. I'm Gabrielle Rodgers. I am a community servant, wife, bonus mom, small business owner, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, that's it. Got it. So the reason why I invited her on is because I said, okay, Gabby is married and she had some, bonus children, which she's going to talk to us about that, how they met, what that was about, how was the experience. Because I know Gabby, she has great conversation. And I said, boom, we want you to come on the show. So Gabby, tell us some things. How did you meet your husband?
Yeah, of course. So I have been married for 4 years. My husband, we met 4 years. We've been together for 8. And so a little bit of backstory how we met. So we met on Instagram, straight flexing, right before they had DMs. So before, they didn't have no DMs. So he was right in my comment section. But I was in college. And so my husband, he's 6 years older than me. So he was, grown man working. And he realized that we had a mutual friend in common, which is my cousin, and they actually were really good friends, and they actually worked together and went to high school together. He reached out to me. So, I was in college. And I said, who this old man? But he was cute. And so, but I had, I ain't paying no attention because it was always up in my comment section. I said, okay then. But at the time before that, I was, how you have situationships in college, whatever. So I was in a situationship previously before that. And so I guess you could say my knight in shining armor had came. And so we courted for a while. We courted for probably about 6 months. And then we went on our first date. So that was 2011. Recorded, that was in 2011. And then courted a little bit officially in 2012. And then we went on our first date, 2013, January.
Hold on, stop.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, but you courted. So please explain what that means, because you said you didn't go out on a date though. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so we will, have conversation. We actually kind of built a friendship first.
Okay.
So he was the first guy that I was probably serious about that. I built actually friendship with. So we built a friendship. We were actually really good friends. And then, like I said, I didn't think it would. I was in college.
So can I pause you again for a clarification question? So, I really want to stay on that little friend. I shouldn't say little, but I want to stay on the friend thing just for a minute. Because when you say friends, so were you guys going out to dinner, or just literally y'all were talking on the phone, y'all didn't hang out in person, or what did that truly look like?
Yeah, because we were talking on the phone every night, all night. Texas, now we don't do that now. We married, just to tell you how it came. But when we first started dating, talking on the phone every single night, text messages. I came home. I did come home during Christmas time, but we didn't see each other then because I was still trying to be like I was old fashioned, y'all. I really was like I was old fashioned. So we, courted, talk on the phone. We didn't go on our first date until almost 6-7 months later.
So truly, this was over the phone text. Just truly,
Yeah, truly get to know each other. And then when our first date, so I was actually my birthday is in January, and so I remember it because I was 22. Okay, my husband 28. I was 22. So he won a young tenderoni. I always say that. And so, but the dynamic was so different because I had never, talked to anyone with kids before. I've never done it. That was my first time. And my first time really dating like a grown man, because I dated guys my age, probably like a year or two older than me, but for the most part, he was the oldest guy I ever dated. So the dynamic kind of was a little different because his expectations, I guess his approach was more different, a grown-up approach than what it was, a little boy. So, and he was very, my husband's very upfront. Now we are night and day. So I'm, hey, everybody. We real night and day. But anyway, so when our first date, I came back from Vegas. When our first date, our first date was Applebee's. So that was Applebee's. Yep. Very like it was yesterday. And I had already started liking him, but one of the things that I didn't like, and he gonna kill me if I say this, my husband, I ain't like the way he dressed. And so I was like, why are you dressed like that? So he had everything else, I was like, why are you dressed like that? So that was, but I didn't force it. I just, do like Valentine's Day or birthdays before we got fished together. I buy him a sweater, like that, and kind of made him feel like it was his idea. He was buying the sweaters, and after a while, he was buying nice sweaters and stuff too. But anyway, so our first date, and then we went back to school. We wanted to still together. That was the first time we went on a date. We came back to school. Probably that was next month, which is February. So him and my best friend had the same birthday. That was awkward for a long time. No story. But and then we officially got together on his birthday, 2013. And so it was a different experience, because I was still in school. So I was about to graduate in May of 2013 from undergrad. I was in Alabama. So I was in Alabama, he was in Troy. So I did commute a couple of times. My parents don't know this. I'm grown now, but I did commute a couple of times to see him. And so we dated for a while. My siblings loved him, and 2.5 years later, we got engaged. We were engaged. That's the story within itself. We were engaged for 2.5 years because I wanted a long engagement. And then, so after 4 years, we were together 4 years before I got married. But a little fun story though. So I'm oldest of 5. And so we always, I never saw myself getting married. I did it before I met my husband. I didn't really, think about marriage because I always very career driven. And so my siblings and I had a pact that we would wait till 40. Now they loved my husband, they did. So we wait till 40 years old. Now, mind you, I'm the oldest. So it was like 31, 30, 29, 28, and then like 24. So we like back to back. So we're gonna wait. But then, when I got engaged, so he talked to my parents, whatever. And they were so happy. But then my siblings were like, well, you're happy till 40. But they grew over it. And so but of course in that, and so he does have two children. We have 2 bonus sons. So when we started dating, they were 8 and 6. And so now they are 16 and 14.
Wow.
2 boys. And I can say that we have an awesome relationship. However, I do believe if it was girls, it wouldn't fly by. Like it wouldn't even be, we wouldn't be together. I'll just be honest, I don't think it would be together. But the boys love me. We have an awesome relationship. And it's a unicorn situation because it's not really heard of, because I've never had any issues, with the mother either. So yeah. Oh yeah. It's been.
So it's the same mother for the 2 boys?
Yes, they were together. Yeah, they were together for about 6 or 7 years, I believe. And then when we met, they were broken up for about 2.5 years, I believe, 2.5 years, and we had started dating. But yeah.
So how does that process look when you're dating, right? Because you said y'all got official, I think, in 2013. At what point did you meet the kids?
Oh yeah, so that's a good question. When we first started dating, I think about 6 months. So that was like February, that like late summer, like August. I remember it clear as day because the youngest one had a audition for something for Disney. I couldn't remember what it was. And so that's when I met them that day. And it was like an instant connection. And like I said, I always like kids love me. I've always, mentor kids, whatever. But I never even thought about, to be completely transparent, I never even thought about having children before. So, it was really a win-win situation of marrying somebody who already had kids, but that it was probably like 6 or 7 months between when we started dating. And we were just always talk about it, but he said after the first time they met me, they asked, where's Miss Gabby? We want her to come back. And so that's what he kind of knew. That was, I guess I was the one for him, I guess. But I didn't know then. So he knew, but I didn't know then. But that's the keep going.
Well, that's another question. You walked us right into a whole other question.
You sure did.
How did you know he was the one?
Mm-hmm.
I will have to say I'm a very independent woman. My parents, I'm very headstrong. I'm what's it called? Alpha female, very strong alpha female. And so my husband is he's an alpha male, but he's still, very calm. But one of the things I knew was that when I got laid off in 2016, we were engaged at the time and got laid off. And he was like, don't, worry about anything, I take care of you. Now that part I struggle with because I'm used to, having my own, just doing whatever. And so when I had to realize that he is my partner, and I guess, I knew before, because we were engaged. I knew before we were engaged, but when the first time is when he reminds me a lot of my dad. And so my dad, he's a provider. My dad is really one of the most humble men you meet, very cool, calm, collected as well, just similar to Jonathan. And so
that's his name.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it because we talked about so many Jonathans.
Oh yeah, girl. It is Dennis. There's no stick. It's spelled Jono. Okay, but I love him dearly. But so I knew earlier. I knew earlier because he's very similar to my dad. But then that's when I really knew, when I lost my job and he was just there, because we all go through things, right? But it's always good when you have somebody there to go through them with you. And so I've always gone through things by myself. Because I had parents, my parents are absolutely amazing, but you get a certain age, you want to kind of, be an adult. And so he really was like, hey, I got you, we in this together. And I think a lot of that, he was established too. So when we first started dating, it's another thing too. I was an intern. So I my expectation is very high of men, right? And so, but I was trying to say, I want you to have all this. And I was working at Kohl's. So when I graduated, so I had a job my senior year of school. I graduated with my degree in journalism, print journalism. And then I started working at Kohl's part-time. I worked in Kohl's after college. And I worked at Kohl's before I landed the internship. So, women, I probably get in trouble if I say this. We have to be realistic, right? And at the time, I was like, you got to have this. And I never dated a guy without a car. I was like, you have to have your car. We can't be walking nowhere. But, I was saying all this stuff. I was 22, 23, and I was working at Kohl's. It's still a job, but I'm just be honest. I was working at Kohl's, making minimum wage because it was $7.25. So, and so, but anyway, so that really was, he was established his own place at the time, was working a job he was with for a while before we had started dating. So he was established, and I was like, you gotta have all this stuff. And he was like, really? You just graduated from college and you work at Kohl's? I was like, oh. So it was a humbling, humble experience. But anyway, I want to ask you a question.
Oh, you did.
I have a question too now.
Yeah.
What were some of your non-negotiables? Like with him, like when you were dating, he was like, look, I can't date no man like this. I can't date no whatever. Because you said, obviously, he had to have a car. So that was a non-negotiable. Yeah, so what were some other ones?
Okay. Before I met my husband, I was real, like, you got to have like a degree. You got to have no kids. You got to have all this stuff. Like, I was real, just materialistic. And when I met my husband, he had some college degree. He's back in college actually to graduate. But he was in college earlier in his like 1920s, whatever. And then he started to work. But he was kind. I wanted somebody that was genuine. And he had children. And so a lot of things that I thought I didn't want when I met my husband, he had those things. And I was like, oh, what up? So I really had to do a self-evaluation with myself too. I was like, you want him to have all this stuff. And it's still a growing experience, because I ain't gonna lie, when we first started dating, I was a hot mess. When I say hot mess, it's not the Gabrielle you see today. It was like the pop off Gabrielle you see. So I really melted down, but really to be kind, to be God-fearing, because one of the things that I had never like really brought guys to church. And so Jonathan was the first guy that's another thing too, that I thought when I brought him to church, not only the seniors went the mother's board, but but they were like, he's very handsome, he's a nice guy, and they knew instantly, was like, hey, he's really nice. Even before I was thinking about marriage, they were like, oh, he's gonna be your husband. I said, huh? So that was good, but really, I just wanted a good God-fearing, kind person who is somebody. This is not negotiable, to love all of me. I always say this: Jonathan really loves he loves me unconditionally. Like, I don't have to be another Gabrielle. He really loves me, flaws and all. I had to work through that though with him. I did. I did.
So when you say work through that, you weren't feeling all his flaws at first.
Well, because when you have such a good dad, right? When I first got married, I had to realize he wasn't my dad. So like, and he like, you ain't your mom either. Like, he was like, you ain't your mom either. I was like, oh,
it's a word.
Oh, yeah, and I did.
He
was like, you ain't your mom. So I had to realize that, we're not my parents. My parents been married for 31 years. And so I had to realize that we're not my parents. My grandparents been married for 50 years. We're not my grandparents. So we had to really accept, him being the man. Because I'm very strong alpha female. So in the beginning, I was like, I don't need you. but I had, like I said, be humble, because marriage counseling, they do say mutual submission. That's the only thing I remember from marriage counseling. Mutual submission. So they just say women is actually
mutual submission. Mutual, you guys means what? Both.
Yeah. Both. Yes, both. So it really was something I had to. It was more so not really him, it was me. How I was raised and just being spoiled, and he still spoiled me. I'm not saying that, but at some point you got to grow up and you have to realize, like, hey, okay, Gabrielle, it's a compromise, nothing to now. If we would like get into a disagreement early on, I leave. Like, okay, I ain't gotta be here. But you can't do that when you're married. You can't get up and walk out. You have to stay there. So that was another thing too. He's a really good communicator. So when I'll be wanting to walk away, he'd be like, really? So so it was a grown up part for me too.
So can I ask, you said you had to learn. You didn't say submission. This was before you said submission. You had to learn to let him be a man. So I often hear older couples or older women impart that, or more seasoned, whatever, impart that wisdom into us. And particularly when I was in a relationship, I remember somebody's mom telling me, like, you have to let a man be a man. And I don't think I truly understood that at the time. Because when you're younger, you're like, whatever, I can do this myself. Or like you said, you come from a household with a daddy that took care of everything and you're spoiled, so whatever, right? How did you, or can you give us some specific examples on how you let him be a man, or how you learned to do that?
Actually, so although I didn't birth the kids, like we have, like I said, a really good relationship. So when they come over, because they come out often, but when they come over, like I try to be like, mama bear, like, don't talk to them like that, whatever. But I realized they're boys. So I had to step back, and he was like, mind your business. That's okay. So I had to step back and let him, discipline the children. And then another one is, what my pastor says, last word does not mean final say, which means if we're in an argument, right? And I'm just, I could keep on talking, but if Jonathan already said, well, we're not gonna go here, we're gonna do something else, he'll let me keep talking. But I mean, okay. And so I say that to say is I had to learn how to be quiet. At times, like some battles, you don't gotta fight them, Gabrielle. Like really, I had to learn that the hard way. Well, not really, I wouldn't say the hard way. I just had to learn it to where everything is not a battle. Like every battle you don't have to fight. I had to learn it in marriage. But really, like I said, when it came to the kids and just different household decisions too. Like for example, when like if we're going to get like another car, or whatever. Actually, we just went a few weeks ago to look at cars, and so I bring my husband because he's the man. I don't really take advantage of the man, right?
Correct.
But I was talking. I was like, I don't want that. He was, and he looked at me. He was like, really, you gonna do that in front of people? I was like, oh, okay. I had to realize that not to and I'm not, I don't try to say this. I don't want it to be weird because I'm not an old fashioned at all whatsoever. But I do think when it says like men require respect, right? And women require, love and respect, but they really require respect. And so me going off him in public, he that ain't gonna fly. Because it shows other people that you don't have your household in order. Right. So, but I said, no, we get back to the house, it's a little different. But in public, I try to be a nice lady.
Now, did your husband tell you this when you were dating, or did you learn this like as after you got engaged? Like, let me calm it down.
It was when I got married. Because you
said it before?
No, it was when I got married. Okay. Because during the I was a hot mess when we were dating. I was a hot mess. I was a bridezilla, I'm not gonna lie. And if that's my family, if they listening, they gonna agree. But I was a bridezilla when it was time for my way. I'm not gonna lie about that. So I was something else too. And so it wasn't until I got married that he was like, because even he really. He's very supportive, but he allows me, not allows me, but basically he's very supportive. And so he really, he didn't want to be talking about, you gotta do this in public. But it was, when I became his wife and took his last name, he was like, listen, you finna be, acting like that. I said, okay then. So, but anyway.
He just let you be yourself when y'all
yes.
was dating.
Yes, he did. He did let me be myself. And I couldn't believe he stayed that long, but I mean, I was a mess.
All right.
I would love to hear his side of, you're saying you're a firecracker and he stayed, people like, I guess, the passion or whatever. I would love to hear what he has to say about you.
Because our group, our sister group, we all are alphas in our own ways, but some are more vocally alpha than the others. So I'm like, we always like, it's really interesting because we always talk about these guys that we semi or quasi try to date. Mm-hmm. And we say, okay, well, how do I say this? I don't want to be too extra. I don't want to be so mean. I don't want to snap on them already. I'll snap on you later until you get to know me. I want to be, that kind of thing. And I think that it's just refreshing to hear you say, like, he took it regardless.
I was my whole self. But I mean, and then my mom would probably be like, Gabrielle, why do you do that? Because she's very but yeah, I was really what you see is what you get. And so you just stay. And he, as a backstory, he likes feisty women. It's not like he doesn't.
See, I knew something was
sure do.
He does.
They sure do.
Men be lying. Men, they like feisty women, but it's just really in public. They they would rather have.
Oh yeah, they don't show out in public. Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
But so he still works. My husband, he works for a union. He works for the post office, the warehouse. And so the schedule changes. And so when we originally, said he was able, but he's still there. So he lame. But anyway.
You're gonna have to meet him if he don't come on in time. Because I want to hear what he got to say.
Yeah, I would love, yeah.
Because you actually, since I know this just from the outside looking in, you're very, like you said, it's a great thing when you know yourself. Like, look, I'm an alpha. It just is what it is. Like, and I love that about you because I know society sometimes gets you to quiet that down. Like, oh, okay, don't be that. That's not feminine. That's not, those kind of things. So I'm very grateful that you're saying that and you're walking in who you are. And I'm like, all right. So and do you think that might be because he's older or just because he's that kind of guy?
I think it's that type of guy. Because I have friends now, mind you, out of my friends, the friends I met within the last couple of years, like a few of them are married, but like my actual friends I went to high school with, I've been friends with for like 15 years. Only two of us are married. Mm-hmm. One, she's no longer married, but now it's just me. So a lot of my friends are actually dating. So I don't really have a lot of married friends. Well, I have some older friends, but as far as like my age, I don't really have that many. So they have different experiences with guys who are way older. Like I have friends who date, guys in their 40s and they're still having the same issues. But one thing I can say is that, Jonathan, his time, when he was ready to propose, he did it when he was ready. Now I did try to give him some hints, but at that time I was okay. Have years, right? Okay. But he did it when he was ready. He didn't allow me to push him to do that, but I did get the wedding that I wanted. So, and side note, so our wedding was so we got married at the Biltmore here in Atlanta.
Oh, the Biltmore, yes, honey. I know exactly where the Biltmore.
So it was pretty, but he if he was up, we probably would have had a backyard barbecue, and that's okay. We want to, But so yes, that's a whole nother story because he was like, he's very simple. He was like, we ain't gotta do all that. So we got married a bit more. Our wedding was featuring Essence, and I can show y'all drop the link, but it was featuring Essence. Talk a little bit about our love story. Yeah, it was featuring Essence. Yes. It was an awesome day, but it was really, like Gabrielle, they don't come see the groom, they come see the bride. Let me stop being funny. I'm just playing. They came to see him, but
no. The first thing is the truth. The first thing you say is what you mean. I wish he was here for real. I'm like, I just want to see his reaction to you when you're talking like this.
Oh, he did.
Like, oh yeah, no, he probably don't pay it no attention. Because y'all, okay, let me ask you this: how long do you think is too long to date and not somebody say, okay, time to take it to the next level? Because nowadays people are waiting very, 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 very long.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
Now, did he tell you
that I was getting married? That he was going to propose to me?
No, that he like wanted to only date you. Like, we talk
that's
about
a whole nother
levels of dating. And so like when y'all were dating, you said you were in college. Did you know like he was only dating you, or were like you seeing other people? Was he seeing other people? Like, did he come and be like, I just want to date you? Like, I think, I'm feeling you a little bit more. Let's be exclusive. Like,
so I don't know if I share this part, but so when we first, before we, became exclusive, okay, so this one I knew I was real serious because I had, you had little friends, on the side, just in case, listen, you don't know what Papa. So like I had stopped, talking to, all my little friends, whatever on the side. And so just continue to talk to my husband, but he was hesitant at first because he felt as though, I was in college still. And when we first started, talking about getting serious, like, dating, whatever, he had a couple like friends like, man, she her senior in school, college, what she doing right now? Shut up. Like, listen, now you would have been freshman year, just a little different. But I was a little, I was about to graduate a couple months. So he had apprehension as far as making sure that I was I was serious. Now I can say that, that was he was, you know, talking to a girl a year or two right before me. He was talking to a girl. Maybe I won't say right before me, maybe a couple months before we started dating, whatever. Before we started officially dating, he was talking to a girl that she was a nice girl. He told me about it. She was nice. She was very
she wants you.
She wasn't me.
She wanted you.
But she was, you know, very nice. She ended up getting, it didn't, you know, work out. She ended up getting married. But what I can say is that him and his mom are very close. And so when he had, that's another story, when his mom and his mom close. And so one of her things that she, you know, she wanted him to start dating again, whatever. And one of the things that she wanted him to having a woman is for her to go to church and different things. So the previous people he was dating didn't know who Jesus was. And so the church girl came and said, hey, let me stop. Because I've been to church all my life. So I am a church girl. I've been to church literally all my life, grew up in church. And so that was a winner for her. But him, yeah.
Okay.
Dynamic. Yeah, so many great questions.
It is, because you have to watch the other ones too, because we cover a lot of things. So let me ask you this. Do you think that how long is too long to wait on somebody? Like if you feel like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like we hang out, I like him, he like me, but we not, how long do you think? It's just your opinion, guys, you're listening out there. It's her opinion. I just want to know, how long do you think is too long to wait on somebody to get it together?
Okay, so I am, if you asked me that 6 years ago, I probably would have said, you know, like, because really men know, they do know early on, they do.
Say it again.
They do. So it's not like they don't know. They do know. But now Gabrielle would say, I mean, honestly, because women are so ambitious now. Like women have so many things. Don't fuss me at me out there, y'all. But I mean, I was at the max. I was at the max 5 years, and I say that if
that's a long time.
If Gabrielle now, because women, how can I say this?
Just say your stipulations for the 5 years. Why would
you
for 5 years?
Okay, so
5 years long.
Now Gabrielle, like getting to know each other, because you know, let's be realistic. When you know you grow up in church and other places, and of course, don't hope my pastor not listen. Shacking is wrong, okay, but people do it. People do it, right? So, but
we got a pastor on here, girl. Don't even worry about it. Go ahead.
People do it, but my thing is, I really think you should get to know a person, and I say that because they say, you know, marriage is a piece of paper, and it's not, because when you get married, that person can do it completely, and I'm not saying 360, you turn around, you be the same person, a complete 180. And you don't know who this person is, and you should date a person who you've seen them when they're mad, sad, happy. That's very important. That's one of the things like I said, because when we first started dating, he saw all those emotions. Mad, not really sad, but angry, happy. He saw all that. And so and likewise, like even like I've seen him get very upset before we got married. I said, okay, well, as long as you ain't trying to kill nobody, so you know, okay, right. And so I think you should see that. So that's my whole now, Gabrielle. Now, if you had asked me a couple years ago, I would say a year and a half, 2 years. It's just me. But I do think it's because it's so many moving parts as far as like what women want to do. Because now, you know, used to just be, you know, men, they still lead, but they're the ones who are ambitious. They're the ones that have, you know, big jobs. Now women become CEOs, they run for office. I mean, doing all type of things now. So that's all I'm saying for that part. But they know early on. Like Jonathan was like, he knew very early. But if you would have came to me and tried to marry me after 3 weeks, then I'm like, okay, we ain't gonna be able to do that. But I've seen it happen. I've seen people, no lie. family and friends who get married after 3 weeks and happily married and still married. But I couldn't do it.
So you said silently or whispered shacking is bad, but would you recommend living with your partner to get to know them more?
Ask the question. Yes, I want to know.
Ooh. I feel as though
God gives us grace, Gabby, so it's okay.
No, he does. And like I said, my personal.
Grace.
But yeah. I mean, I know I'm probably gonna do that. I'm just being, because people do it, but really, yeah, outside the church people, but church people do a whole bunch of things in church as well.
Girl, they do everything.
Hello, all the things they tell you not to do, they the first ones doing.
Yeah, right. And so, but I do, getting to know a person, yeah, the perception of it, but really, you don't know. You get there, he start knocking inside your head, and it's not funny. But it's real. I'm just being honest. Like I've seen friends who, date a guy a year or two, whatever. Awesome. Get married, get serious. He is crazy. And so, and now, like I said, when you see people in all their seasons, that really tell you. So I will recommend now, also though, now, 2-part forward to that. If you are in a committed relationship, like if you all are engaged, you're engaged. Now, just to be living together,
right?
Just because somebody need a house, whatever. I'm not with that. But you're engaged, you're serious about it, whatever. Because I know a lot of couples who got married, who's bought a house together, stayed together for a while, then got married. I mean, they were engaged, whatever, but still got, because that's still a big commitment. But what does the church say?
Let the church say amen.
Amen. You hear me? Amen. Because half of the time our parents lived together, and they weren't married.
Yeah. Especially if they met in college,
Hello. Before they knew the Lord, I should say, cleaning up before they knew the Lord. They were doing those things.
But I think you learn a lot about a person. And in marriage counseling, we talk about, because that's one of the things, you talk about the wedding, but they ain't it, right? You get married, that's the real thing. And so talking about as far as like, are you going to do gender roles as far as like, is somebody, you have somebody, y'all both gonna clean up, one person gonna clean up. I mean, just all that stuff, y'all both gonna cook. Now, side note,
I was about to ask about the cooking.
I don't know. That's one thing I don't. Now, he knew the upfront. I ain't gonna lie about that. Now, that ain't me. I didn't pretend to be that person. When we first started dating, actually he cooked. Our second date for Valentine's, he actually cooked. But now I can do a little something, but I ain't no Susan homemaker. My dad actually cooked. My mom can cook. She would get mad if I said my mom can cook too, but my mom cooked food for fancy people. My dad cooked the collard like that's my dad, right? But my dad cooked. And honestly, the majority of the men in my family cook. Now the women can, but the majority of the men cook. So I don't. I'm not gonna. I don't.
Nice to know. You don't.
I feel like it's a lot of men out here that love.
They do. They cooking.
Yeah,
you guys are cooking beyond just the grill. Okay, it's grill, but they actually throw down like they have. Okay, I'm gonna cook this side, this side. That kind of thing. So I think I'm grateful for that shift. Not to say, because I don't mind cooking. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is sometimes I'm tired. If I'm tired, I want to make sure we both got to eat. So,
we eat out.
You don't cook.
I eat out. We eat out a lot.
Do you?
Oh, a lot. Like this is no lie. This is a joke in the house. The only time we had groceries, and when it was with the kids coming, that's the only time we get groceries, because we eat out a lot.
Wow.
Because he works. At first, he's working at nighttime, so he was in the day, And I wear several different hats, as Victoria knows, several different hats. But
she does.
I'm part of several different
organizations. You all over the place,
everywhere, and so I don't have time to cook and do stuff. So I just bring home. But I can say when the pandemic first started, he didn't know who his wife was. I was cooking, y'all. I'm up cooking full meals. Salmon, chicken, fish. breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Love will make you do it.
He didn't know who
make you
his wife
do
was.
it.
He didn't know who his wife was. So he ain't got there in a long time. So, but yeah,
love will make you do those things. I mean, it really will, because I think that's what we're learning. Like somebody said to me that they're dating somebody right now, and they said, he makes me want to submit. And I felt like that was a deep, deep statement. So, Gabby, do you feel that way about your husband, like the submission? Because even though it's mutual submission, do you feel like that he makes you want to be that, okay, well, let me think about him too. Let me think about all these other things since you were more into yourself.
Yeah, I think it depends on what date it. Like, I'm gonna be honest. When it comes like the 1955 submission, no, I ain't finna do that. It's gonna be, you ain't finna be coming and talking about you want to come home and your stuff on the table. No, that ain't finna happen. But I do think that he does make me want to be feminine. I can say that because I'm very I'm not manly, but it's
What does that mean? What does feminine mean to you?
I get to be like a damsel in distress, kind of.
Oh, like I don't know how to do this when I really.
Yeah, I get to make him feel needed. Yeah, right. He loves to feel needed. So I think he makes me want to be soft, because
you don't have to be perfect and on all the time, is what you're saying.
Yes, because I was so I'm like right. I have several different leadership roles, and sometimes you come home and he be like, listen, just you're a boss, but you're my wife. So he's like, listen, I need you to take off your coalition hat, your nigger woman hat, your Julie hat, and put on your, Gabrielle hat, wife hat. I said, okay. Because sometimes but
he had to tell you, so.
Yeah, I don't, switch it off. I'm like, okay, let me stop being, just listen. Yeah, I have to be assertive in my different roles. And so I have to realize when I come home, I can be just Gabrielle, vulnerable, because I do struggle with that. It's nothing. I struggle with being vulnerable. I struggle with being empathetic at times because my expectations of people, because if I put in 100%, I expect people, but it doesn't happen that way. So I'm working on that, being vulnerable, and I'm working on being empathetic. I am working on that because.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So do you think that your husband accepts you? And I wish he was here, but you can answer since he ain't here. Do you think that comes from him being confident? What I know that, in my opinion, it does. But for you, do you think that since he's confident, he allows you to be like, look, do your thing, but I'm letting you know when you come over here, though, you're not going to do that.
Yeah. And honestly, I tell people all the time, because I'm a part of, I think it's like 6-7 different organizations where I actually lead in, right? But but I love it. But
it's your passion.
I have a really good support system, and that is the reason I'm able to do what I need to do. And so he very confident in himself, always been very confident. It's one of the things that I do love about him. He don't have to be in front. We're not in competition together.
Right.
We working, towards together. He don't have to take, he ain't that type of person. So that really is a wonderful attribute that he has, because it allows me to, to be who I am, and not, make me feel like I'm in competition with my husband. Who won't feel like that? Like we could be against each other. I don't have time for that.
People do it all the time. That's why they get divorced.
Right. I know, we're not in competition. So
do it all the time.
I hope I'm answering y'all questions. This is so good.
Yes, girl, you're giving us so much. I think the one thing that you said to me that stuck out is or that just blessed me so, is the fact that, you didn't have to fit into anything to be everything that he wanted you to be. Like, because I'm telling you, society is what's messing things up right now. That's just what it really is going on. So since the society is telling people, no, they can't be this, no, they can't do that. Why she don't cook for you? Why she don't do this? Why she don't do that? And I think that I really am just grateful that you are being very open and honest about who you are, whether it's flawed or not, because you just said you're working on, being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And you married. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is something that's ongoing, regardless if you're single or not. So I really appreciate you being very, very, very honest.
Yeah, and I think, because when we first started dating, like, so that was 2013. So, started talking for 11, like I said, before they had DMs. So everything was out and open. People saw what you did. Like, people were like, oh, he talking to her. So it was no privacy. And so now, and then, he's also seen me grow up. Like, he's seen me from 22 to 31. I'm almost 32. So he's seen me come really like a baby to a grown woman. And what is also funny is that, a lot of things I've spoken to him about what I want to do has come into fruition. And so he's been, been right there. So to see that happen, and he's been the same, consistent within that. So yeah.
Amen. Any other questions for Gabby before we close? Because Maggie was sitting with the questions.
Honey, she was pouring the wisdom out, right? Somebody from a younger viewpoint that's been married for, a few years. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate you ladies for the opportunity. Tanya, you have any more questions, girl?
Right. No, that was it. I like, because we've had several different people on here, but I want to say you're the first that we had that you're not afraid to admit that you are like a leader, a little feisty. You have a lot going on.
Right.
And, your husband was not afraid to let you, not lead in a sense in your household, but let you be yourself. So I like that, that he kind of, supported you. Like you said, he was there with you every step of the way, supporting you and let you be that alpha female and lead. And it's good to hear that, because sometimes, I be wondering like, ooh, am I doing too much? Or like,
right.
Doing a little too pushback. And I remember I dated this one guy. He was like, we have, because I was like, I'm kind of emotional. And so like every time, we kind of, I don't want to say an argument, he was like, we have healthy debates. Like, we have different sides, but we don't take it personally. And I was like, oh yeah, I never thought about that. He was like, and I'm cool with it. And I was just like, other men be taking it like, oh, you ready to snap on them? Or like,
you too aggressive.
Right. Direct. Like you say, they be wanting you to be this damsel in distress. And I do have those aspects too. But I appreciate that
all the time
to find love with being yourself and being who you are, and being, even if you are that alpha female, there's, somebody out there.
That's right.
That you can, and I say, sometimes we've talked about control, that you can, let that man have some of that control and lead. And he's okay with doing that, because when you get back home, guess what? He the head of the household.
He sure is.
What he needs to do.
Oh. It's good because your alpha doesn't dictate his alpha.
Oh,
right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a word. Your alpha does not dictate his alpha. That means that's the man for you. That's just what it boils down to me. Mm-hmm. If you're not, but whatever my personality doesn't dictate yours. It's something. And sometimes it just don't work.
Yeah, you're right.
It just don't work. I mean, it just is what it is. And it has nothing to do with, looking at yourself and saying, oh, no, it just didn't work. It just, and you're not for each other.
And one more thing when we talk about being headstrong and being too much. Like I've had, when I dated guys in college, very college educated. They were the most intimidated. The people
Say that again.
So the one who was decorated, master's degree, all types of stuff, they were more intimidated by me than my husband. He went back, he's going back to school. He's 38.
I think that's a word too.
So I sip on that drink when you just said the intimidation has nothing to do. It's
because they're so used to winning, right? And you finna bring this woman in talking about, oh, she got something to say. Yes, I do. And I've always, even as a child, like I've been like this since a child. This is one of the things, they say your children talk too much. Don't tell your girls they talk too much, they're gonna be leaders one day. And so, but I was the one getting talk too much in my report card. And so I made a good living out of it. But yeah, those more intimidated than And so he's very, secure, but them ones that we be wanting who very decorated, they be insecure.
But insecurity has nothing to do with gender.
It does not.
It's not. Leadership has nothing to do with gender.
No.
That's why I'm like, oh, girl, you're speaking the word. One last question to you.
Yes.
Was your husband your type? If you had,
she already said no. She said she didn't like the way he dressed.
Yeah, no, but she said he was kind though, and he was.
Yeah, but
in a room, would you be like? Because you know how I'll be like this. I'm noticing the older I get, I don't have a type. Like the type that I want ain't. It's not. The physical type is not what it used to be.
No, he was. He was a grown man, so he was, built, had a beard. I never dated like a beard, just a grown man. So no, he wasn't my type. No, I mean he was handsome. He was handsome, yeah. I always call him a meal, but he's handsome, yeah.
A meal.
Yeah. I should have switched out pictures. I could put it up, but yes, he's very handsome. But no, he was not my type. I never dated a guy like that. So I dated, summer because I was first off. Let me just tell y'all. So I know we got to go, but I gained like freshman 40. 60. So I was
100. 60. That ain't freshman 15.
So I was like 125 up until I was 18. I was very small. And so when I met my husband, I was a little thicker. But anyway, so I dated like slimmer guys. Like I never like dated bulk guys. They were tall, skinny guys.
Yeah.
That's the guys I dated. They was like sometimes brown skin. They don't, like little, my dad is light skinned, but I dated a light skinned guy before. But anyway, so I dated like brown skin. People is smaller, so not smaller, but like slimmer. So I've never, to my husband's big arms, like beard,
like football type,
football,
like right. Like
I never dated
her type is basketball player.
Yes.
Football player.
NBA, NFL.
Yes, that's what
like basketball talents.
Yeah,
NBA, NFL.
Those type of guys I dated before I met my husband. So no, he was not my type. I did not. But then I was like, oh, okay then. So he was but this is what a grown man looked like. So I said, okay. He wasn't my type. But he was nice looking though. He was nice looking. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, but yeah. I was like, because I was like,
so okay, before we go, I'm gonna just say this. What's one thing you would tell? We always ask our guests, what's one thing would you tell single people out there, as far as if they're not just regular single, but you're actually looking to one day be committed? What's something that you would tell them?
Always live in your truth. And I know that's cliche, but if you live in your truth, then you will attract the guy or the woman that is for you. So just live in who you are, live in your truth, and you will definitely attract that person.
That's amazing. So also, it's time for the plug. You got to tell us what's going on with you, so that we can know the community, what's going on with you, so we can support and we plug everybody that come on.
Yes, well, of course, like I said, I wear several different hats, but one of the hats that I am very excited about is that I am running for office. I'm running for state representative in House District 88. It's in Stone Mountain, Tucker, and Lithonia. So very excited to be a strong, bold voice, a leader for our, not just for women, but for generations, for our seniors. And for our young folks. So I'm excited to embark on this journey. So you all will definitely get more emails about how you can help me for my campaign. And I'm excited.
And don't you have, hold on, excuse me, don't you have a Black woman organization?
Oh, yes. Listen, Victor. So I'm part of several different organizations. So I am just became named the first vice president for programs and planning for the 100 Black Women Decatur DeKalb chapter.
Amen.
I am the vice president of training for Junior League of DeKalb County, and I also serve as the president of the DeKalb Young Democrats. So I'm very excited. And I'm sorry, and the Negro Women too. I serve in there as a correspondent secretary. So I wear many hats. I wear them well.
Okay, so next time we see you, you're gonna have to have your husband on here, because I think now I'm just like, who is he? What does he talk like? What does he feel? You know what I'm saying? Like, because sometimes with this show, it's hard to find males who can be like, look, I'm ready to have that conversation. You know, because we're not asking, everybody needs to be comfortable in wherever they are. So, and we love the people who've been on here so far. Love you guys. Thank you for being open. But yes, so thank you so much, Gabrielle, Rodgers. She's running for state representative. You said 88?
Yes, 88. And he does send his regards. He said he tried to get it. He been texting me all day and said, can we reschedule? I said, no, I have to come on.
But no, I mean, we always open. We're flexible. So just tell us when he next. Tell us when he is ready to come on and we'll make it work.
I definitely will.
Yeah, tell him he was missed, okay? Because we wanted to know what was going on with him. So, okay, everybody, you guys have a great week. My name is Victoria L. We got Tanya, teacher up at Okay, then we got Maggie, my girl Maggie. We send our love to our sister Cherie too. And we already said, Gabby, we love you so much. Don't forget to go on our Facebook page, The Wedding Game Chapter 35. If you ever want to be on the show, hit up one of us and let us know. Hit us up on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, all those things. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And hello, please just be safe, okay? COVID is real.
It's still here.
Just be safe, okay?